Okay. Ready to go?
Yeah, you can start it.
Okay, cool. So first, thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking time out of your day to help us with this. So what was it like creating your company, and what is your current position in the company?
Like I was just saying before we started, I have two companies, 50/50 Media. We do computer and cell phone repair services, along with like some graphic design, web design and marketing projects, some printing stuff like that. And then I run a youth basketball organization called Coaching Victory. So I'm the director and founder of the program. We do youth events from AAU basketball to recreational leagues, camps, both in the States and in Canada. And we do a lot of training and stuff throughout the year as well.
Okay, that's awesome.
Is this the field that you thought you'll be in when you was growing up?
Honestly, growing up, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to get into. I always had an entrepreneurial spirit from elementary school. Like I would sell candy and stuff, sold different T-shirts and things like that throughout high school and college, CDs, ringtones, a little bit of everything. But I always had a knack for computers. I always enjoyed playing basketball, coached basketball, watching basketball. So I just try to find some things that I like and enjoy, and turn them into a business, because they say if you're doing what you love, you're not really going to work. So I like doing both of my jobs, both of my businesses. They're both related to things that I just naturally enjoy in life. So it's almost like I'm not even working sometimes.
Yeah.
That's great. I admire that.
Yes. So so what's the best part of the job and running the communities that you'll say?
I would guess the best part of managing your own business for me, I have 4 children, so it's just the flexibility of the time with my schedule, being able to be available for my children. I'm very involved in their lives, so it allows me to be able to do that. As far as impacting the community, um, with my computer business. I'm just able to be an example for some other people that came up from the area that I came up from, and allow them to. I don't. It's allowed me to be sort of a mentor, a role model, somebody other people can learn from, so that I can help other people come along and establish themselves in the field. And then with the basketball program, the community aspect is that's pretty much what we started from. Myself and a friend of mine, John Allen, he had played professional basketball overseas. We kind of came together and we tried to find a way that we could provide premium quality programs for underprivileged children in our community that we both grew up in. So we started the programs like that. So the benefit is just being able to give back. Now that we've grown into such a large organization, we're able to help a lot of kids who wouldn't be able to travel or who wouldn't be able to play in better facilities and stuff. We're able to give them access, sometimes free of charge.
I love that.
But on top of that, what's the worst part? Like, instead of being the best.
The worst part is the worst part of being in charge, I guess, is being in charge. So when it's good, it's good. But when you have issues, when there's problems going on, it's very difficult and everything falls back on you. I guess with Coaching Victory with the basketball program, this year with COVID and everything coming in, it was definitely a challenge, where we had our whole season and you put all this work into setting the season up and planning and preparing and getting all your workers and volunteers and just the whole schedule set up, things paid for ahead of time, collecting membership dues and things like that. And you have something like COVID comes and everything is shut down. So you have to kind of find a way to reimburse people, get money back for certain things and work other deals. So it was, beginning of COVID was very, very stressful for me, because not only sorting out those things on that end, also not allowed to operate from my office for my computer business as well. So just trying to find new ways. I ended up turning the whole room in my house into a home office now. So kind of been switched over to more of like a mobile repair setup. So it was definitely a lot of work, and just a lot of stress, long nights trying to figure out put everything together. So that would be one of the disadvantages when other things like that happen. You got to take care of it.
Yeah, I could imagine having to adapt to all those different situations.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a whole new world. It's a whole new world out here. Seriously.
Right.
and
Different.
for continuing on, even with that, how many people do you usually manage in both of your companies? Since you say like being the leader is both the best part and challenging, most challenging.
Okay, so for my computer business, we have a small office. So I usually have about 2 to 3 employees. I have 2 other techs that work for me, and we have a secretary. I share our office space with a family member who runs a cleaning company. So we share a secretary to kind of cover both businesses, to kind of help with some of our overhead costs and things like that. Um, and then with the basketball program, it just depends on the time of year. We have about maybe like 40 coaches that we use throughout the year for the different programs. And we have a pool of about maybe 20 officials or referees that we use for the camp and the leagues and things like that. So depending on what we have going on throughout the year, it could be anywhere from 5 people during down times to dealing with almost 100 people when we're in prime time doing different events and things.
Yes. Makes sense.
So, do you feel that you are valued as a leader and an employee at your company, both your companies?
Um, Yeah, yes. I mean, I always feel a value with my computer business. Um, I don't have to do a lot of advertising and marketing. We use a lot of word of mouth, so a lot of our customers give good feedback, and I always get referrals and things like that. So it makes you feel good that you're doing good work for people, and they're satisfied with your service, and they want to spread that word to get more people back to you. And then could you say the question again? I don't want to go too fast.
Do you feel that you're valued as a leader and an
Okay.
employee? Both.
Okay. Yeah. And with the basketball program, we get a lot of positive feedback as well. So I always feel valued. My partner that I said we started the program with, he's like a star basketball player from our area. He played overseas, so he's like kind of famous in our area, somewhat not. So he gets a lot of the accolades and stuff for a lot of the work that I do sometimes. But we're a team, so I don't really worry about who gets the shine and things like that. Sometimes as long as everything is running right, and he's kind of like the face of our program as well. So even though he gets some accolades for some of my work sometime, he also opens doors for us and things for the whole program as a whole, just with his face and his reputation and things like that. So it goes both ways, and we're not trying not to be about pride or status, things like that. We just want the company to run.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And continuing with that, do you find that everything you do in both of your companies rewarding?
Yes, very rewarding because, like I said, they're both passions of mine. So, like, I enjoy taking apart computers, building things up. I enjoy working on graphic design projects, and things like that. So, when customers are satisfied, or somebody can come to me with thoughts and ideas, and we can turn it into a reality for them, or actually help their business, or give them exactly what they want on a shirt or something like that, always feels good. And throughout the basketball program, just watching kids improve, grow. We watch kids mature both on and off the court. We're very family oriented, so we're very in tune with kids as they move forward in life. And like even like this past year, very very proud. Several of the kids that participated in our programming over the last few years are going on to play in Division I colleges and things like that. So we have like maybe like 6 kids this year that went D1, and like that's like so awesome for us. 'Cause that's the goal. We want the kids to be better in life and provide other opportunities for them.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good. So with you being both an employee and a boss, that must be draining for real. So like in a typical day, what is it like? Like what do you do?
A typical day for me, and I guess that's a good question that goes with being a business owner. Is there isn't really a typical day. every day is a little bit different for me. Especially because I'm also in the field of education. I'm also a teacher as well. So with that having that as a career, it gives me the flexibility because I get off early, so it gives me time to work both jobs. And then the summer's off, so it gives me work my businesses and a job, and so it gives me a time to oversee both. So yeah, like a typical day for me, it could be anything from during the school year, it's getting up, coming to my classroom, servicing my students there. I take care of other odds and ends from my computer business, oversee from here until I'm available to go to the office in the evenings. Um, and then when basketball program is going on, depending on the event or depending on who I have in charge, I still have to check in and oversee and do a lot of running around. With everything being virtual, I was teaching from home for a while and doing things, and I will be working from my office, doing class in my office and fixing phones. And so it's depending on whatever is needed. Just got to kind of move around. And like I said, I had the 4 kids as well, so my days are always always up in the air.
Yeah. And before we continue on, I was actually curious because I didn't know you were a teacher. What do you teach? What kind of like grades do you teach?
I teach, work for an alternative education program, the Chester County Intermediate Unit. I'm in a program called Options Plus. It's like an alternative education program for some students who with special needs, as far as they have like behavioral concerns and things like that. Yeah, so basically I'm a special education teacher in an emotional support classroom,
It's amazing.
which it goes hand in hand with the coaching and the basketball and the teaching so I used to work for the Coastal School District, and I was a coach for a while, and that kind of helped start the basketball program, and then we built off of that.
Yeah. So with all of that, do you ever get them like tangled up and like mix up some dates and? Or,
That's something that I definitely had to work on, but I feel like they talk. What you guys majors? What are you guys working on?
I'm business management.
Business management. All right. So business management, marketing, they talk about having different cash flows and streams and things like that. So, I mean, you just gotta manage them. You gotta have them. So you gotta find a way to manage them every day. I use my phone a lot. I'm an Apple guy. So like if I put it in my calendar on my iPhone, it comes up on my watch, it comes up on my computer, it comes up on my iPad, everything syncs. So I have like different code. I'd have a different color. Like my 50/50 media stuff is in red. My coaching victory stuff is in green. My kids stuff is in yellow. And my personal stuff is in blue. So it's just like, I just constantly try to put even the meeting that you had today, like when you called me yesterday, I put it in my calendar. Still was 2 minutes late, but we try to manage everything. And so I try to use technology to keep me on track and keep me organized.
yeah, that's good. And do you ever feel like your days drag though? Like some days drag, some are slow.
Yeah, definitely. It's some days are fast, some days go slow. Kind of really depends on the projects or what I have going on. But I also keep a list of tasks in my phone. So even when I have a day that seems slow, my task list is always growing. So I always really have something to do. So really, I would say like the way that my day goes is more dependent on me, as far as whether I'm exercising regularly, if I'm getting enough sleep and things like that. Because when I'm tired, or I'm not eating right or something like that, then I tend to drag or get tired throughout the day, and I'm not able to really complete everything I need to get done. But when I'm on a schedule and I'm getting good sleep and I'm eating right, every day seems to pretty much flow, and I can get a lot more done.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Having to have like a routine kind of schedule. Definitely get that. Okay. And I know you mentioned this earlier, kind of touched on it, but we want to go a little bit more in depth. And how has COVID really affected both of your companies, your teaching job, and working conditions?
Majorly. Well, you mentioned with teaching. So with teaching for a while, I had to switch, and I was working from home. Everything was up in the air. We switched over to Zoom and Google Classrooms really quick. Over the summer, we were able to have some trainings to prepare for coming back this year. So I teach from my classroom, but my students are still virtual. With 50/50 Media, we have a small office space in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. So it's it was hard to adjust our office to some of the COVID requirements because it's so small. So like if I'm at my desk and someone's in the waiting area, it was already like 6 feet. So and there's too many customers. So I had to convert to a home office. Had to put some signs and stuff up at my house. Change some of our marketing material and things like that. Switch to kind of like a mobile repair service. So I'll have some of my techs who will pick up phones and computers and things like that, so we can bring them in to have them serviced. And then as far as the basketball program, we literally had to just shut down. We were waiting on word from the governor and getting updates and things like that. Some of the facilities that we use, they didn't know what was going on, so we literally just shut down for the whole year. We have one of our AAU teams that started participating in events about 2 months ago. But they're following a lot of different protocol and guidelines at events, and we're just kind of trying to use that to kind of set the temperature for what we're going to do moving into next year. But yeah, it was really hard hit for the basketball program because we had to do a lot of refunds, so we ended up taking a loss, and then we still have to continue with some of the marketing and just getting prepared for what's going on next season. I actually have several emails right now that I have to respond to, people asking questions about what we're doing moving forward, but we really don't know yet because we're still trying to figure out what's going to happen, if it's going to spike back up, if we're going to be allowed to run things. So it really changed a lot for us on that one. Was the most difficult.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely playing things by ear right now for everyone, I feel. So you talked about how kind of your company is overcoming and planning ahead. How are you personally, as the manager, the leader, overcoming these obstacles and sudden changes?
I just try to always I try to always be open-minded, and really I'm trying to take advantage of the changes to kind of prepare and build the companies for later in the future. A lot of the things that I do I'm always looking to change it up and cut out overhead and try to maximize profits and things like that. So even with the less time at the office and adjusting to a more of a mobile format, able to save money on like rent space and things like that. Some other bills at my office space. So just trying to research and just look up different ways of doing some of the same things, and hopefully can come across of the next wave of something, like, because you have companies like Carvana and Netflix and like Shopify and all these other companies. They just did an IPO on this company called Snowflake, which is a big iCloud computing company that just came out, and they're all thriving right now with the changes and everything like that. Switching over to more of a virtual and digital format for everything. So just kind of trying to find a niche in there and ride the wave to kind of. Situations like this is where billionaires are created. So some people struggle through it, but if you find the right advantage moving forward, you can definitely come up off a situation like that.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of adjusting, I understand.
That's true. Well, a few more questions. More so straying into your future. So do you see yourself running and staying in teaching in the future?
For me, I enjoy my job because of the students that I'm able to work with. Like I said, I'm in an alternative education program, so I deal with a lot of minority youth who don't have the best home situations or environments they come up in. So I feel like I have a unique set where I came up in that same environment that a lot of people are successful from. And I was able to go on to college and graduate school and create my businesses and everything like that. So I feel kind of a responsibility to be evident and present in my community, to kind of help other people come along. So yeah, so to answer your question, in the future, I feel like I enjoy this position so much that regardless of the successes of my businesses or my company, I still would like to be involved to some capacity in the education field, especially specifically in the environment that I'm in now. I wouldn't like to go in a traditional classroom setting. That really is not for me. That's not really where I feel like my impact can be the greatest. And then as far as my businesses in the future, a lot of people start businesses and companies and things like that, and they plan on working them, running them forever. My goal was always to build my businesses or companies up to the point that they're profitable and successful, that somebody else would be interested, so that I can sell them and move on to something else. I don't want to coach basketball stuff forever. I like to be involved. I don't want to fix phones forever or have to manage my company, micromanage so much. So just want to continue to build, grow, maybe turn into a chain or something like that, so that I can actually sell and move on to other interests that I have in life, and stuff that maybe create the same type of residual income flows without as much hands-on work every day.
If you had to implement short-term goals or like, little quick goals that you can accomplish, what would some of those be?
Oh, definitely. Always, you got to have your little wins. You got to map them out. Depending if you want to talk about like with basketball, with our AAU program or something like that. When we first started, we had one team. This was in 2013. We made a goal for the next year to have 3 teams. We had 3 teams. Our goal for the next year was to have 5 teams. We ended up only having 2 teams that next year. So we didn't reach our goal that year, but then we came back the next year and we had 10 teams and then 15, 17. So we just been growing. So we just try to set a number each year. This year we were up to 18 teams for traveling basketball. We had 3 teams competing nationally. So that was a lot of growth. So and then just with 50/50 Media, we usually do like a goal just to be just a certain amount of people that we service. We try to say that if we had 3 customers a day, that everything would be well paid for and everybody's taken care of. We don't have to worry about pretty much anything. We're able to cover that and everything's profitable. So we try to maintain that. Some days we'll have 3 customers, some days we'll have 0 customers, some days we'll have 10 customers. So we just try to be consistent and just make ourselves available.
Yeah.
And just to finish it out, just to make sure we have information that we wanted to know from you, what are just the names of all your companies and organizations, your positions, and how long you've been in each of them?
Okay. Well, 50/50 Media is my computer, cell phone, graphic design company. Started in, I'm trying to think when I actually filed my articles of incorporation for LLC. I believe it was 2011 or 2010. I believe it was 2010. I had started the company a little earlier, like 2008. And I was just doing like mobile repairs and things like that after I had graduated college. But I think we officially filed all of our articles of incorporation, the LLC paperwork and everything in 2010. So that's a little over 10 years. Coaching Victory started in 2013. Coaching Victory is a youth basketball organization. We started as just a training program, but we quickly grew to AAU and rec leagues as well. And then we run camps in the United States and in Canada every year. Well, except for this year, so we had to cancel our camps and everything this year as well. So, but and then I've been teaching. I've been in education since 2009. I started as a classroom aide. I worked as a computer technician for a while. Then when I finished my graduate studies, I started teaching. So I've been teaching for about 6 years now. The last 2 years I spent with the Chester County Intermediate Unit, the Learning Center.
Okay.
I got one more quick question real quick. It's about your 50/50 Media.
Okay.
So with starting all that, like how do you get your screens and all the tools that you need in in order to run it?
Well, networking is really big. So when I first, and that's another thing. I guess I learned a lot about networking when I was in college. Uh, Myself and two of our friends, we started a clothing line called Storm Apparel. We ran that for about 4 years. It was really successful. But through that, I had to go through like trade shows, and we would go to like this big trade show in Las Vegas twice a year called the Magic Show. And you learn to meet with different manufacturers and things like that and outsource. And so I took the same approach when I started 50/50 Media. So just found a lot of connections with different printers in the area. We started off local. Once we were able to build up enough revenue and enough quantity in our orders, we started outsourcing to some overseas stuff. I did the same thing for our parts. We only do certified Apple parts, so it's a lot of manufacturers like you get parts off of Amazon and eBay and things like that. We were able to set up corporate account with a couple of different companies, so we get all of our parts and everything wholesale, and they're all guaranteed, come with warranties and things like that, which is definitely important because you always want to be prepared for issues, returns, damages, and things like that. So you always want to have an account available to cover shortages like that. So keep that in mind in future endeavors.
Yeah. So last but not least, I believe, do you have any advice for any young entrepreneurs or any college students that are ready to go out into the workforce and find a career?
Definitely. I guess first and foremost for me, we kind of touched on this. Find something that you like, that you love. If it's something that you care about, even if it doesn't seem like it's profitable to you, be willing to just make whatever sacrifices you can to make that a reality for you. And in the same token, it goes with the same breath. You also have to be willing to do some things that you're not going to want to do to be able to support what you're actually trying to do. So if you know that you have a goal and that you're setting up, you want to run this business or that this is going to be profitable for you, do the research on the field. Make sure that it's not oversaturated or it's not something that comes with a lot of overhead that you'll actually be able to pull off. And then do whatever you need to do to raise the funding for it. Really put the confidence in yourself. Always tell people to invest in yourself rather than investing a whole lot of time and sweat and things like that in somebody else's company. Save up, make the sacrifices, skip out on a couple of pair of Jordans or the newest model, the cell phone or something like that, and invest it back into yourself.
Well, thank you for that. It was honestly very inspiring and enlightening to me. I think it's awesome that you're doing 3 totally different things at once while still juggling home life.
You gotta diversify, right? You gotta.
Definitely. Well, again, we appreciate you doing this for us, taking time out of your day.
And that's another thing, though, that you just mentioned with the diversity of it. I know, like when they talk about investing and things like that, they talk about diversifying your portfolio to make sure that you have balance. I feel like the same thing with your life and your career. So if you're involved in different fields or different areas and you have your cash flows coming from different things, if COVID happens and you have to shut down your youth sports program, you still have computers that people always need, and that so you still have that to fall back on, or you can move over into another field. I can work in education if something happens over here. So you gotta have that balance so that you can bounce around, because you never know what's going to happen. So you don't want to invest too much in the same area, because if one field goes away, if they stop using cell phones or something, I mean, which would never happen, but if that was to happen, my whole business would start from scratch, but I can lean on something else.
Yeah. Well, thank you for everything you do in the community and everything. And
Thank you guys for reaching out to me. I'm glad I could help you guys out. If anything else you need, please feel free to contact me. You have my number.
all right. Thank you. Take care.
All right, and is it just going like in a